y'all. Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Married to Medicine. This is season 9, episode 6. Y'all know I love this show. A mess. But let's get into it. All right, guys. So the episode picks off where we left off, where everyone is sitting at the table. They're still playing Never Have I Ever in Jackie and Simone's room. So Anila talks about never have I ever, had butt sex. And everyone's like, what? We don't do that. And then Simone was like, the vagina is meant to expand, not your anus. And then they talked about, sex on the beach and all this stuff. They were just having a good, fun, girl time. And I enjoyed it. They were all laughing. They were all drinking champagne. And then Jackie kicked them out and was like, hey, everybody go to your rooms and get ready. So they end up having dinner at this really nice, cool restaurant. But one thing I will say is, Contessa FaceTimed Scott, and Scott was like, hey, don't bring up anything about, the online videos. Just let it go. And Contessa's like, you just want me to let it go so you and Damon can be cool again. And he was like, I guess, but just don't let it, let it go. So she put on this ugly, and I mean ugly, cotton candy wig. It's supposed to be a deep blue, at the root. And then light blue coming down, but then in the back it's a deep purple, kind of like this purple, but then it gets hot pink. It fades to hot pink, and the wig needs to be tweezed, as well as her baby hairs were tucked underneath. And I was like, I used to do that when I didn't know how to do baby hairs, but I can do them decently now. They're not the best. They're if I had to rate myself, they're a solid C-, a solid C-. And so on some days it's a D, and on others it's an F. But I was just like, girl, what? Then she want to go buy Chanel with this ugly Chanel necklace on. It looked like a belt around her neck. I was just like, Contessa. No. But they're all sitting at the table. Quad is late as usual. They're about to toast, and then she finally walks in. They're starting to get food and eat, and they were all talking about how they are really enjoying themselves at the trip, that they really needed this, and they're enjoying the energy. They're all enjoying each other's energy. So then they said something about people need to take a shot of penicillin for syphilis. We find out that syphilis is on the rise in Atlanta. My goodness. And Jackie was telling Quad, you need to be careful. And Quad was like, this is a temple. This is the fortress of Quad. I said, why is Quad so dramatic? Why is she so dramatic, bruh? But then Quad asked Jackie, oh, Jackie, why do you have dollar signs on your coat? Because her coat had dollar signs on it. So, and then Quad was like, Jackie make her money very quietly. She's very, she coined up. So then Heavenly chimes in and she says, we're all successful here. And Anila said, do you really believe that? Do you really believe that? Girl, because Anila's like, girl, not the way you be talking about people. And then all of a sudden, Audra chimes in. She was like, are we? Because I heard that I was a bad attorney. And then Toya's like, girl, here we go. Because Toya was like, I said it as a joke. I didn't mean any harm by it. And I got to give Simone a point, because Simone was like, you can't be mad at what Karen and Anila did to you with the U-Haul thing, as well as and then not understand why she's mad. And then Quad even had to tell Toya, you can't say anything about people's career, baby. People get mad and people get in their feelings. Cause then Audra was like, what Audra say? Audra said something about I am very I'm African, girl. And then Toya was like, okay. And she was like, we don't play about our educations. You either got to be a lawyer, a doctor, a nurse, a da. And I was just like, okay, Audra, calm down. I get it. You felt disrespected, so you got every right to call a thing and come at Toya. But it was just girl, it wasn't that serious. Were you just waiting on that to get with Toya? Because then Audra was like, can we use our critical thinking skills? Are we clear? And Toya's like, I'm gonna use them. Calm down. Because it wasn't Toya wasn't even fazed by it. She was just like, okay, bitch, calm down. It ain't that serious. All right. I know not to joke with you. And I was just like, yeah, it wasn't that serious. And Toya was like, it was a joke. I wasn't trying to come at your neck like that, but okay, girl. So then, while they're sitting at the table, Jackie pulls out this whip and like slaps it on the table, and everybody's like, "Girl!" Everybody's at the table is like, "Oh my god, girl!" And Jackie's like, "I got a fun night planned for us. Like, we're gonna have like a good time." She scared everyone to death because everyone at the table was like, Jackie." So they end up going to like this really cool sex shop, and they had like the workers was like were really well versed in like the product and stuff. And that's one thing I do like about Married to Medicine is that like these are women in like their 40s and like 50s. Like yeah, between 40s and 50s, and like they're not ashamed to talk about sex. And they talk about it in such a positive way that it's like you shouldn't be ashamed of it either. And I like that about this show. Like I like that you get like so many aspects of these women, but it's like we're not watching like women in their 40s and 50s be prude and act like they ain't had sex, but all of them got kids. Like or had sex. So it was nice. Like they're at the sex shop. We see that they have like sex furniture as well as like like vibrators and clitoral stimulators and all that stuff, and like dildos and all that. And they talked to the man, and Toya was like, water pressure. I use the water. And then Anil's like, I use that too. But they show her a toy that was like the same. And then the guy starts to talk about like tantras, which I've heard. And he was like, holding an orgasm, you can hold it for 3 days. And I said, I was with Toya, who wants to do that? Who wants to do that? Like in the moment, enjoy yourself, but who is holding an orgasm for 3 days? Who is holding an orgasm for 3 days? And then Toya talked about the best orgasm and all of that stuff. But I was just like, who is holding an orgasm for 3 days, bro? That's a bit much. But they all had a good time. They I bet you a few of them bought some like vibrators or whatever. So then it's the next morning, and girl, Anila's room looks disgusting. She got open bags of like hot Cheetos, pretzels, and then her clothes are everywhere. I was just like, girl, you only been there for 1 day. Maybe 2 if that. Why is your room this ransacked? And Audra was in there like, girl. So then we see Carrie, Simone, and Toya in the room together. And Toya was like, what's the girl name? And I think she called her like Andrea. And she was like, and Simone was like, you're taking a page out of Heavenly's book. Because remember, Heavenly used to call Contessa Cone Tessa. C-O-N-E Tessa. Cone Tessa. And she was just like, no. And Toya was like, it was like I didn't mean any harm by it. I was just like joking. And Simone told her, right, like you can joke, but you can't dictate how people take it, which is true. Which is completely true. Which is true. Just like I said, Kieran and Anila, especially Kieran, can't be upset about how Eugene took what they did to like Toya and him with the whole U-Haul and stuff. But then we flash forward, we then get a scene of all the parents, like all the dads with their kids. I thought it was cute. We see Eugene with the boys. They're all the 2 of them are running around the pool, diving into the pool, having like a good time. We then see Kieran doing fine with the children. I don't know what Anila be doing, but they were making pizza. The house was very calm. Their kids were calm. They had a good time. We then see Scott with his 3 kids, and they're all like at a pottery place. I mean, they was on the little girl about her makeup, but like all she had on was eyeliner and like eyeshadow in her eye ducts. But I get it. If your parents have set a rule, like you can't wear makeup until you're 16, follow the rules. But then again, I saw girls in high school getting their makeup done for the first day of school. I am so happy I am not in high school. Like I got out of high school in like the 10s, the 2010 era, 10s era, because the way y'all are acting now in the 20s, the 2020s is makeup where my mama, all we could put on was lip gloss. You was not going to school. I know there were some girls who, honestly, the girls who really went to school with a full face of makeup, and mind you, I grew up in a white, like bright suburbia, were the white girls. It was really the white girls who had like black, caked on black mascara and with a little bit of, with a whole bunch of highlighter on their cheeks. That was like the move back then. Now everybody's face is beat to the gods, and I wouldn't have been able to keep up. I know I wouldn't have been able to keep up because I would have got tired of waking up every morning like 30 or an hour early to wake up in the morning, wipe my face, put on my primer, my foundation, my concealer, my highlighter, my eyeshadow, my lashes. That is too much, bruh. That's too much. And it's school. I don't want to be there no way. We even see Laura driving with Damon. Gave me flashbacks to when my dad was teaching me how to drive. It was just cute to see all of them with their kids. It was just really cute to see everybody with their kids. So it's the next day, and Simone is the one that's like, it's her day to take over everything. And that's where things went left. That's where things went left. So let's get into it. So like I said, things went left. They go to breakfast. Toya is mad because she want her bacon. And I'm not going to lie, I was getting annoyed. But then again, you know, bacon is life. Bacon is good on anything. Bacon is good in a salad. It's good on a donut. It really is. We have a place out here that makes maple bacon donuts. There's one place where I used to live in Virginia, where I went to high school. Place used to make maple bacon cupcakes. Like eating breakfast, bro. Just sweet and moist, bro. Bacon is just good on everything. Like I said, salads, sandwiches, by itself, on confectionery treats. Bacon is life, bruh. And I mean thick bacon. Not that cheap, thin bacon. I mean thick, like thick cuts of bacon is fire. So they're at breakfast. Everyone's just having like a good time. They then start to talk about, like, Simone starts talking about her book. And they were like, and Audra said, what was the reason why you wanted to make a book? Like, write a book. And she just talked about how, you know, one of the most like difficult times in her life was like whether or not she was going to get a divorce from Cecil. And she said the women at this table really helped me figure out whether or not I was going to stay with him or not. And they called me out on it. And then Simone directs her attention to Heavenly. And she was just like, you know, Heavenly was the person I talked to honestly the most about it. And she was just like, she was the one that told me sometimes when I was being crazy. And I don't know, Heavenly has archaic views to me when it comes to marriage. But like Simone said, your marriage is your marriage. So the way I govern your marriage is how, and I'm a believer of that. That's what my dad has always said. What they do in their marriage is what they do. What you do in yours is what you do. If it works for you and you're happy and no one's being disrespected or abused, then do what you do. Do what you do, you know. That's what he say. Do what you do. So they were at the table, they were talking. Then I don't know how they got on the conversation, but I think Heavenly started talking about like Jackie and how she was like, you really wouldn't know if Jackie was having issues in her relationship because she doesn't share it. And then Contessa jumps in and she's like, yeah, because, you know, you can't have everybody in your marriage. And everyone at the table was like, yeah, because then you'll start to like try to do, or so many opinions, or try to do everybody else's opinion. So then Simone is like, yeah, you know, you can tell your friends about your situations and things of that nature, but it's hard when you hear it come back to you from them. Simone kicked off this argument that happened between Contessa and Heavenly, and y'all know I love me some Simone, but she kicked it off because Heavenly was like, when Simone was like, even when I didn't want to hear it, we talked, like you gave me advice, and Heavenly was like, but you listened to me, you know, things like that. And then it got crazy. I don't know how it got ignited, but then Heavenly stood up and was just like, y'all can't keep putting that on me. Y'all always talk about all your marriages. And then Simone started yelling and was like, because you don't even you don't even share yours. And this is my thing. What Heavenly said is correct. What she said is correct. If you don't want people to talk negatively about your relationship, don't showcase it. But then I'm looking at Heavenly, then why would you join a show called Married to Medicine? It's not Medicine to Medicine. It's not called Medicine. It's not called Life of Practitioners. It's called Married to Medicine. So it's aspects of people being married as well as working in the medical field. Like, it like what's not clicking. And the thing about it is like, no, has Heavenly, this is the thing, and I can give Heavenly this. Contessa did this to herself when it comes to Heavenly having things to talk about. And they showed flashbacks. You over here talking about Scott was seeing some lady for 7 months and you didn't even know who she was. You also talked about whether or not he's cheating or not, as well as you, like when you brought up that he was saying he was ready to leave you once you went to school. It's like you gave the ammunition for people to use it against you, as well as like, I understand the fact that it's like you don't want your friend to throw it back at you. It's one thing to have people that don't know you talk about you, but it's another thing when it's like I'm sharing intimate details about my life with you, and then you get on the internet and kiki and kaka with people you know that you're like that don't support me or like me. That stings a lot more than what it is. But I think in this moment, I do feel like Heavenly was deflecting, because Contessa even said, I'm not mad at what you said about Scott. I'm mad about like you being on the internet and talking about it. I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing that's hurting Contessa, which I'm kind of like, I kind of see it, but I also feel like, Contessa, you were on there talking negatively about Simone and Toya. So it's like you were speaking negatively about them. Why all of a sudden isn't an issue now? Like, what changed for you to be like, yeah, no, F that? So Heavenly gets up. You got this Asian lady with her husband in the background doing this. And I'm not mad at her because I would do the same. I don't think I would make it so blatant, though. I wouldn't make it so blatant. So then I'm Toya, because Toya, I would have sat there. Toya just sitting there eating her bacon, eating her food, watching them back and forth, because Heavenly gets up and then Contessa gets up and she's like, you're not a real friend. Like, you are never a real friend. And then they get to arguing, and then something, I feel like Heavenly might have said run up or something, but then she said, no, Contessa said something about run up. Heavenly said, I'm right here, even though she was on the other side of the table. Contessa's being held back by the ladies. Heavenly's like, you're mad at your husband, you're not mad at me. And Quad is saying, girl, stop. Like, she's mouthing, stop, like, stop. And then Anila's like, you love Contessa, like, stop, like, you're just spewing out like just random things. You got Dr. Jackie saying like it's the menopause, like she just quick to anger now because of the menopause. And I was just like, there's a lot going on right here. It's a lot going on right here. I don't know. I genuinely think that there's hurt between both of them, because Contessa is always crying after every argument she has with Heavenly. And I don't think that's because of like Scott's or her situation. I think maybe she did really see Heavenly as a genuine friend, and now I think she's just hurt. As well as I can see Heavenly's point of view, where it's like, we were cool 5 months before we started filming, and now that we're filming, you got an issue with me. I understand Heavenly being frustrated. I just feel like in this moment, both of them are not wanting to listen to each other, because it's like Heavenly doesn't feel like she did anything wrong, because it's like, I only speak about the things that y'all have shared on the show. Contessa feels like, no, I've shared intimate details with you. And I think that's the part that Heavenly's not getting. Yes, you're only speaking about what you see on the show, but it's like the behind the scene aspect is that these people have shared with you personal information, and it feels like you're using that against them. You may not be saying it, but you're privy to the backstage information. So it's like, you do have an opinion on what's going on, and it's not the best. And it's like, there's ways in which you can talk about this show without the energy that Heavenly spews. That's the thing. I don't think Heavenly's channel she should stop doing her channel, especially if she's enjoying it. But I think if she wants to keep the friendships that she has to like taper the way in which she speaks about the ladies, especially when there's people in the comments who gladly talk shit about everybody. Like, they drag everybody, and it's like, girl, it doesn't make you feel good when you click on your friend's video and then you look in the comments and it's people talking Cash Money ish about you and you like, damn girl, you co-signing it? You co-signing it? That doesn't make you feel good. So Heavenly has to change that. She definitely does. So Heavenly leaves and goes. Heavenly, Audra, and Anila go to Anila's room so they can calm down. They do some prayer to calm everybody down, which I thought was hilarious. They then get in a limo and they all go, what is it called? I was about to say hand gliding. That's not what it's called. Zip lining, which I've done a few times. I thought it was so, Toya was scared, which I was surprised. They actually invited everybody because they asked contestant, like, you gonna be cool with Heavenly coming? And she was like, yeah. So, because she was like, I don't want it to be awkward. I want everybody to have a good time. They all go zip lining. It was a good time. Like I said, Toya was scared. I thought maybe she was like, not faking, but was like, putting it on. But then when she started crying, I was like, oh, like she really is scared. But I was glad that she did it. They had a good time. They really had a good time. And that was really the end of the episode, was all of them, going ziplining. So that was the end of the episode, y'all. A lot. It was a lot. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and drop down in them comments below. Deuces.